Welcome back. It is Monday, February 5th in the NBA. My four best bets are on the way. On Saturday, we went 3-0, and on Sunday, we gave it all back, an 0-3 day, a reverse sweep. Let's talk about it, see what went wrong, and then move on to today's picks, because we're going to have some bad days. We're always transparent, but let's talk with the losers. Cade Cunningham, he had 21 going into the fourth quarter, just did nothing in the fourth, then capped it off missing 2 free throws. Wouldn't have really mattered if he made both of them, but obviously he did not get it done. Jimmy Butler, 29.5 PRAs. He hit his over in points, but he missed the 3 at the buzzer that would have cashed his PRA line. You just hate to see that. And then Fred VanVleet, I can't really be mad at him. He had 11 points with like 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Didn't really play much in the fourth because they got blown out. Shot 11 times. That's all we were asking for is VanVleet to shoot at least 10 times. Obviously did not come through. An 0-3 day. Kind of gave back all we had on Saturday, but not too worried about it. We got 4 picks incoming on Monday, and we're going to dive right into them. Worth noting, though, I believe Arizona is getting access to Bet365 today. I don't really know officially, but when I do, I'll link all this stuff down below in the pinned comment and the description down below, and you can definitely check that out, Bet365. We love them. One of the best books out there. But let's dive into our picks today. We got 4 of them. We need to bounce back in the worst way. We need a 4-0 day. We're going to start with the guy by the name of who, what, where, when. Kawhi Leonard. I like his over 27.5 points, -115 on DraftKings. Now, Kawhi has been a very, up and down guy this season, mostly because you never really knew how many minutes he was going to play, like stuttered. But I really like Kawhi's matchup tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. Now, let's just look at Kawhi's last few games. Look how he's been doing. Last 5 games, I'm not going to go through every single one of these lines, but you see a very high floor for him, 25 or more points in 5 straight. Field goal attempts typically there, 16 field goal attempts last night, which was against the Miami Heat, one of the worst, matchups for Kawhi Leonard. And he still shot the ball, got 25 points. It's pretty, decent against the Miami Heat. Hard to do that. But I like this matchup for him against the Atlanta Hawks. He basically gets an inverse of the matchup he just had. The Hawks play no defense. They just let you come into the paint, do whatever you want, whereas the Heat are one of the hardest matchups for anyone out there. And they've been involved in some blowouts. We saw some games where they played against Boston, Washington, Detroit. Kawhi wasn't even playing in the fourth quarter in some of these games. But coming into this game on a back-to-back, I'm pretty confident Kawhi Leonard plays, but I'm not confident Paul George plays. There's no guarantee. He's been basically on he played 32 minutes last game. Maybe that's because they were like, all right, well, you're not playing tomorrow. We might as well play you 32, 33 minutes. But I don't know if Paul George plays, and if he doesn't, this line maybe goes up a point or two. But I just think this is a perfect matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, a team that just does not play defense. And Kawhi's taken advantage his last 5 games versus Atlanta. Granted that, they only play once or twice a year, and Kawhi hasn't been, as the healthiest over the past, few seasons. But he's played well against them, 31, 31, 25, 29, and 32 points, attempting 24, 18, 14, 23, and 20 field goal attempts. So a lot of field goal attempts for Kawhi, and I'm pretty sure we can lock it in for him to shoot 18 times tonight. If Paul George doesn't play, he'll probably get closer to 22 to 25 shots because they'll kind of need him to be more aggressive. But this is just a good matchup for Kawhi Leonard to go out there and do his thing. They're not going to double team him this season when he's attempted 18 or more shots, which he's done in 13 games. He's averaged 30.8 points per game, scoring 28 points in 10 of 13, 77% of the time. When he attempts 20 plus shots, he's done in 7 games, hit this over in 6 of those 7, averaging 32 a game. So I think this comes down to if Kawhi Leonard's aggressive, and I think he will be aggressive tonight, especially so if Paul George is out. But even if PG is out there, PG just does not look 100% healthy. And so I think that we'll see Kawhi have to do his thing, and he's probably going to get the Jalen Johnson shadow. Now, Jalen Johnson, love him, great young prospect. Obviously only been in the league for, I believe, 2, maybe 3 years, but Jalen Johnson, I am not sold on him on the defensive side of the court. I've seen him get cooked by some guys. And Kawhi Leonard is a guy that you don't want to mess with. And Kawhi, I think, will just be able to take him isolation and just go one-on-one and absolutely get to his spots, do his thing against him. We saw Luka drop 73 on Jalen Johnson. I'm not worried about Jalen Johnson whatsoever. I think he'll be able to bait him into some free throws as well. I just think that this is just a good spot to back Kawhi Leonard, just do his thing. We've seen 17 people over the last month or so against the Hawks attempt 18 or more shots. 12 of the 17 easily hit this line. Majority were scoring 35. Klay Thompson accounted for 2 of the 5 guys that went under. So Klay, let's be honest, Klay kind of sucks. But I think that Kawhi will get the attempts tonight. And if he gets the attempts, pretty good track record of him hitting the over. Very efficient scorer. It's Kawhi Leonard. We'll take his over 27.5 points. My first pick of the day. Kawhi, hopefully you have a big day, and hopefully Paul George, we get some good injury news and he gets rested tonight. Worth noting, probably Ivica Zubac could rest tonight too, so they might be a little bit short-handed today. I like Kawhi Leonard. Give me his over in points. Now my second pick is going to be one that a lot of people will not like because it is an under, and it's an under on a superstar. It's a superstar. We just took his over in points, and he dropped 60 points for us because it's Steph Curry. We're taking his under 30.5 points, -120 on DraftKings. Now, I would play this down to 28.5. You could probably wait because the line might honestly go up as the day goes on, because a lot of people are going to be hammering Stephen Curry props, and I'll talk about why, but I really don't like this matchup for him tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the best value I saw at 29.5, which was his normal line, was about plus 105 on DraftKings. I just went for the 30.5 because 30 is a milestone number. Maybe Steph ends on 30 on the dot tonight, so I'd rather be safer than sorry. But like I said, Steph, we just took his over in points. He dropped 30 points or 60 points for us, doubling the line that he has tonight. I just don't like this matchup for him. Let's talk about it. Steph on the year is averaging 28.1 points per game. He is under this line in 28 of 43 games, 65%, including 14 of 19 on the road, 74%. Now, the Nets, if you look at the matchup, you'd be like, oh, they're giving up a lot of three-pointers and points to point guards. Yeah, but that's not really how they're going to defend Steph Curry tonight. They're typically defending, the opposing team shooting guard like that. But now he's going to get Mikal Bridges on him. And when Mikal Bridges is off the floor, Dennis Smith Jr., one of the most underrated defenders this season, will be guarding him. They're going to make life difficult on Steph Curry. He's going to have to make some tough shots. Now, last game against the Hawks, they don't play defense. I just told you that. They gave up a ton of free, wide open shots to Steph Curry. Of course, he's going to make shots, but this is a tough matchup. We just took Tyrese Maxey's under against them. He had 23 points on 23 field goal attempts. And if you look at the Nets, people will say on the season they're giving up a lot of threes. They have not been the same defense they were over the last 10 games than they were the first 10, 15 games of the season. Last 10 games, Nets, third fewest three-pointers allowed, third fewest catch and shoot threes allowed, ninth fewest points allowed in general, and have played at the 10th slowest pace. So this is a team playing pretty slow. They don't have Ben Simmons tonight, who normally will push the pace a little bit faster. They're going to go slow, and they're going to make Steph have to work for his buckets, and I'll take my chances with this. I mean, Steph, last game, 38 shots. That's not Steph Curry's game. We know he's not a guy that's going to shoot. He's not Luka Doncic shooting 35 times a game, and obviously that game did go to OT, and you're going to feed the hot hand when he's got 60. But I just don't think this is as great of a spot as people think it is for Steph Curry. You look at his under 5.5 3-pointers, minus 240. They're saying, hey, more often than not, he's going to go under and make 5 or less three-pointers. And when he's done that this season, he's under this line in 22 of 26 games. Only, 15% of the games he was going over, 85% towards the under when he makes 5 or less threes. I know it could be a big Steph Curry game and he can make you look like an idiot, but I'll trust the numbers here. I'm going to take Steph Curry's under. I think the Nets will make someone else beat them, and I think they will live with Klay Thompson, who just went like 4 for 20 in the last games. Maybe he plays better. Kuminga just got into 6 fouls, and some of them were not great foul calls. Maybe one of them shows up. I just don't think 30.5 is a tad too high for Steph Curry. I'll take his under in this spot. Hopefully Bridges and Dennis Smith Jr. play some pretty solid defense. If they want to double him, I welcome that as well. Give me Steph Curry under 30.5 points. I think we've hit 4 straight unders, going for a 5th straight. My last 2 picks are not going to be unders, 2 overs. Let's talk about the first one. Technically isn't an over. You'll understand what I mean. Trey Young to record a double-double, which could be an over 0.5 double-doubles, or him to record, 10 plus points and 10 plus assists. This is minus 130 on ESPN Bet. Going back to that Clippers and Hawks game. Now, I would personally play this about minus 150. His assist prop, which was 10 or over 9.5 assists, was about, minus 160. So we're getting minus 130. Pretty good discount here, given that Trey Young probably scored 10 points. But I really do like Trey Young tonight to get those assists, which is obviously kind of the prop we are taking. But Trey, so far this season, has scored 10 or more points in all 44 games. We'll take that. He's got the one leg of the double-double down. Now, he'll likely need 10 assists to get it done, and he's had 10 assists in 30 of 44 games, hitting a double-double in 68% of games. Now, as I said, today's matchup is against the Clippers. Clippers are on a back-to-back. Just had a grueling defensive matchup against the Miami Heat. Will their defense be as locked in today? Probably not likely. They'll probably try to play more of an offensive game and say, hey, you know what, we don't want to try too hard defensively. We're just going to try to outscore you, which the Clippers can certainly do. They have the offense to get that done. And hopefully that's Kawhi Leonard going berserk. But you look at Trey, he's had a double-double in 8 of his last 10. He's averaged 19.2 potential assists. He's averaging about 58 total passes made. So he's passing to his teammates. And I think that they'll be able to knock down some more shots tonight. I believe his last game, 19 potential assists. I think he had 5 or 6 assists, so his teammates just weren't knocking down shots. And I don't love assist props, but I think this is a decent spot to back Trey Young. And we've seen him have pretty good games against the Clippers. Over this, had a double-double in each of his last 2 at home versus the Clippers. The Clippers have also given up a good amount of high assist games to guards recently. I mean, they just allowed 11 assists to Cade Cunningham. They allowed 10 to D'Angelo Russell, 12 to Donovan Mitchell recently. That's just in the last 7 games. I think they'll have some spots here. Clint Capella, I believe, is out, but I do think that we'll see them have open opportunities to make some shots against the Clippers. And if they want to double team Trey Young, I welcome it. Give us some more assist opportunities. He should get his 10 points. If he somehow gets the double-double with 10 rebounds, I'll record tomorrow shirtless because the most rebounds he's had this season was 6. But I still do think Trey Young will be in for a good spot to get those assists. He'll set up his teammates. It comes out if they knock down some shots. Coming the Clippers on a back-to-back, I'll take my chances with them knocking down some open shots. So give me the double-double for Trey Young, my third pick of the day. A minus 130, a little bit juiced, but I'll still take it at that value. Now my fourth and final pick of the day will be one last over, and we'll be on the guy that cost a lot of people money last game. I'll talk about why. It is Keegan Murray of the Sacramento Kings over 13.5 points, minus 115 on Bet365. I would take this at 14.5 for Keegan. Last game, everyone was on Keegan's props. It was against the Bulls. Great matchup for him to knock down threes. Team that gives up a lot of catch and shoot threes, and he stunk up the joint. 5 points and like 2 of 6 shooting. His backup, Trey Lyles, did exactly what people thought Keegan Murray would do. He had like 15 points or 16 points, made like 5 threes off the bench. Now we look at Keegan coming into this one. His line did not change after 2 straight duds. I think this is a game he steps up in. Worth noting, if you're on FanDuel, you're like, where the heck's my Keegan Murray line? I did not get it taken down. They have starter props listed for every single starter in this game, points props, except for Keegan Murray. Why? I don't know. Maybe they have insider info that this is a Keegan masterclass. If they do, FanDuel, we appreciate you. But let's talk about Keegan, who, like I said, is under in 2 straight games, scoring 5 points on the dot in each of them, shooting 2 for 7 and 2 for 6. Not a lot of volume. However, prior to that, Keegan had a lot of volume. He had hit this over in 10 of his previous 14 games. So on a good track record here. Was not great on the road to start the year, but has been better lately. And I think this is a matchup they need him to score. This against the very tough Cleveland Cavaliers defense. They're going to make life difficult on Sabonis scoring inside, and De'Aaron Fox as well. I think they're going to need guys to knock down some 3-pointers against them or drive and get to their spots. And Keegan Murray can do that. He just hasn't had a lot of volume in the last few games. Also has shot poorly the last 2 games. If you start shooting better, he will knock down some shots. And Keegan has actually played really well against the Cavaliers 3 times in his career. 14, 18, and 25 points in their most recent game in November. So I think Keegan will be able to do his thing. He'll get some opportunities tonight. Give that De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis will probably have a tough matchup here. And I think they think he makes shots. I mean, Keegan to make 2 3-pointers, minus 200. So more often than not, the books are thinking Keegan's making 2 or more threes. And this season, when he's made 2 or more threes, which he's done in 26 games, he's averaged 19.7 points per game. Hit this over in 20 of 26 games, 77%. Look, great buy low spot here for him. He can't possibly really play worse than he has the last 2 games. That was a back-to-back. Maybe wasn't in the great mental space. He had a day off yesterday. We'll come into here. I think he'll be pretty aggressive. If we can get 10, 12 field goal attempts tonight, he probably goes over, and I think he'll get some open opportunities with Evan Mobley crashing the paint. Kick it out to Keegan. Knock down some shots. Boom. That is how Keegan Murray scores 14 or more points tonight. My fourth and final play of the day. No more added plays. We're just going to stick to these 4. Worth noting, the one pick I was really considering was Tyrese Maxey's over in points, but I don't want to take it just yet. If somehow Tobias Harris does not play, maybe we add it, because if Tobias isn't there, someone has to score in the Mavs. Also don't play defense, but I really like these 4 picks. We got Keegan's over in points, Kawhi's over in points, Trey Young double-double, and Steph Curry, a spicy under 30.5 points. My 4 picks of the day. Let's bounce back after that weird 0-3 Sunday. We'll have a dominant day today. Hopefully go 3-1 or maybe 4-0 sweep. You guys have a wonderful Monday start to your week. I'll see you guys back again in the next one on Tuesday. See you then. Peace.